if I can change that a little bit. My career and my life has been slightly upside down, and I might relate a few instances with Sean and Carol and Mandeep and all the instructors. So I had actually had no clue what I was doing early on. I had absolutely no clue. Some of my family members said, hey, be an engineer. You make a lot of money. Boy, they were wrong. Right? Easy hydro, etc., etc., etc. So early in life, in early teens, I lost my father. And it was like, didn't know what to do. It was like, now what do we do? You know, I was the only guy you go up and talk to, and now what do you do? So early teens, I grew up in Richmond, ended up with a job, cleaning offices and so on, the usual, and then I found another job working for KFC, McDonald's, the usual. I go, wow, these guys pay really well. It's $2.25 an hour. That was a whopping change from cleanup stuff, right? So I go, wow. But this thought of becoming an engineer kind of stuck in my mind, and I was always a tinker. And well, how do you do this? Because it costs money to go to school. So anybody who lives on the west side, there was a KFC on 45th and Arbutus. I was working there while I was going to school, but I didn't tell anybody that I was going to UBC. And I didn't tell the UBC people that I was working at KFC. So there I was serving at the front, and some of my classmates show up. So I hid myself at the background. I didn't want them to know that I'm working at KFC. So my manager goes, hey Bob, just go up there in the cash. And I go, no, I got to go to the bathroom. So anyhow, those friends of mine saw me. And it was not the coolest moment. But then I said, yeah, you know, I do this as for extra money and so on. But I kept going. Somewhere, and I can't remember the exact location, I saw this sign. It said, winners don't quit and quitters don't win. It just stuck in my mind, and I said, I'm going to make this happen somehow. So there I go, UBC, first year. It's one of those things where you experience everything that could possibly go wrong, did go wrong. So second term at UBC, those were UBC students, or then UBC students. Students like to celebrate birthdays. And my birthday was in November. And does anybody know what they do to people that have their birthdays in front of the library pond? They strip you naked and throw you into a pond. So, well, I go, that's nice. Where's the birthday cake, right? So the birthday cake was, they collected all my clothes and they gave it to you. And then they go, okay, go ahead. So that was interesting initiation. But you know, it's one of those things, and I think Sean's words of being authentic and being honest and straight up, focus, stayed in my mind and carried on. And they inducted me into the Llama Club at UBC. Some of the UBC people here. It was a club where they have a beer drinking machine. And all you can drink is free as long as you can make it to 40 beers. And I go, oh, this could come in handy. So they gave me a Llama thing, which means you can drink. But I had no idea that I actually drank. I had no idea. Continued on, and then something else went wrong. Went to the bank, and the money that I was going to pay for my fee just went missing. So I had $2 left in there. But those were the days if you wanted a copy of your checks, it cost you 50 cents to get a copy of the check. So, well, I go, if I get a copy of 4 checks, I'll have like 0, right? So that didn't go well, so I quit. Then I worked in local companies, and then I said, well, how do we make this happen? And University of Victoria opened up a new faculty of engineering, and they said there's a co-op type of thing, and I didn't know what a co-op was. The first time I read it as a coup. And I go, they have a coup. So anyway, I applied, and as luck would have it, like stuff just happened. It was no plan. They were taking only 40 students into the engineering. And guess what my number was? 41. Okay. So now I can't make it down there. So I decided, I'm just going to drive in my Fiat Spider convertible. You know, sometimes I ran on 4 cylinders, but mostly on 3. Drove to Victoria, and I said, I think I'm going to wait it out. Let's see what happens. So, well, of course, paying money, sitting in a hotel was expensive, so I decided that I was just going to sleep in front of the building. And in the morning, you know, school opened up, and the associate dean comes out. He goes, hey, who are you? I go, I'm just waiting. And he goes, what's your name? I go, Bob Gill. He goes, I think you're in. Somebody dropped out. So I made it to University of Victoria as the 40th attendee, or 40th registrant. And life, I was not going to look back from there. First term, I think I did enough damage to courses. I think I aced everything. And then IBM was there interviewing people. So I got a job for IBM in Toronto. I signed up everything, and I go, oh geez, this is not in Vancouver, this is in Toronto. Flew to Toronto. I grew up on Macintosh computers, and then I'm faced with IBM computer. I'm going, what is this, F1, F, whatever that means. So I educated myself on IBM computers. I had grown up with an Italian family here, Falcone brothers, so I had some bad habits. So my manager looks at me, he goes, he was an Italian, but he goes, hey Bobby, where did you get this bad habits from? I go, oh, sorry about that. So he goes, no, come on. I'm going to put you into the programming side of things. So I did a lot of programming, and halfway through he goes, I think you're tall enough. I think I'm going to put you into manufacturing. I said, okay. And boy, that summer of 1989, I made about $31,000 in 1989. A lot of overtime. And if anybody remembers, those were the years when Blue Jays won their trophy. They took us down to the game and so on. So life changed forever. That sign still stays in my mind. You know, winners don't quit and quitters don't win. Come back, finish off my school, and I had about a year with BC Hydro. And I was being interviewed by my chief engineer. I sat outside his office. His name is Bruce Pryor. So I'm sitting outside his office. He walks out of his office. He goes, hey Bob. Goes out to some meeting. Half an hour later, he comes back. He goes, hey Bob. He goes, what are you doing here? I go, hey Bruce, you're supposed to interview me for the job. He goes, oh shit, I totally forgot. Right? He goes, come on in. So he takes me in his office. We're talking. He goes, he shuts the door. He goes, don't tell anybody. I totally forgot. I thought you were permanent already. So this is how I ended up with a permanent job with BC Hydro. Spent about 8 years and wanted to see some change. I was trying vigorously to get into BC Tel. I just could not get in. So there was an opening at TELUS in Calgary. True story, the day I joined TELUS in Calgary is the day BC Tel and TELUS merged. So I go, there we go. So, and I was hoping that I was going to go back to BC Tel in Vancouver, because if you've grown in Vancouver, you know, Alberta, it's slightly cold. I don't know if you've noticed. So I spent about a year in TELUS. Guess which one survived? The Pontiac. Out comes the person. I go, hey, I was a witness to your accident. Feel free to, you know. He gives me his card, you know, in an accident. Nobody cares. Yeah. I get an email from ICBC, our local insurance company. And he goes, well, can you tell us a little bit about it? And I said, absolutely. So I sent my account of what happened. And 2 days later, I got an email from somebody. It said, hey, you want to come in for lunch and coffee? And, you know, thank you very much for being my witness. And I'm going, who is this guy? At the bottom it says, Dr. Ronald Stern, Vice President, Education, BCIT. I go, oh shit, this guy can come in handy. Right? Coffee, lunch, and meet with the Dean or VP. So I took him upon for coffee. He goes, hey Bob, meet Dean. Dean, meet Bob. Do you want to work for us? Seriously, that was 20 years ago. and I've been working for BCIT ever since. When I started with BCIT, I knew I was part of IEEE, and I got a call from Victor Leon. He goes, hey Bob, I want to go on sabbatical. Hey, can you do this course for me? And so I knew Victor a little bit, Dr. Leon. I go, yeah, sure, I'll do the datacom. I didn't realize that UBC classes are slightly bigger, right? And so there I was in a class of 40, and there I walk into UBC, McLeod 228. There's a class of 185 students, some people sitting on the floor. It was slightly scary. First lecture, one of the students asked me a question about daisy chaining routers and so on, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He had just come in from a co-op job. And my answer to that question was, you know, I don't have a good answer for that. I will get it back for you tomorrow. The entire class clapped. I was shocked. And one of the students, you know, there's always a bold student that speaks up for everybody. He says, you're the first instructor that was honest. And I was kind of thrilled. So my point being, it's just be authentic, be yourself, let it be. And then I spent a year, so I've been teaching as a sessional. And about 6 years ago, one of my colleagues called me up. He goes, hey Bob, you know, you're an adjunct at UBC. I go, it's working. That's the best satisfaction you ever get. You've made a difference in somebody's life. They're working, and so on. My graduate studies, when I was at BC Hydro had a program called, Professional Development. We get an email from Chief Engineer. If anybody wants to pursue their degrees into master's program, we'll pay for it. At the back of my mind, I said, I think I will let you do that, right? So that's when I actually bought first textbook, because as an undergrad, I couldn't afford a thing. Barely pay your fee. Now, textbooks after textbooks, and got my grad school. BC Hydro paid the equivalent of, I counted, $93,000 towards my grad school. That included, when I'm going to school, they paid for the fee. If I'm away on a project, they paid for helicopter rides behind dams and so on. And when I moved to TELUS and BC Tel merged, and they said, you have a program too. If you want to pursue your degree further, we'll pay for it. I go, I think I will let you do that, right? So I pursued partial completion of my PhD here at UBC, but then the other half of my support in life kind of moved on. My mom moved on. So it's just I felt, well, you know what? I think I've been lucky enough to be at the right time, right place at the right time. Now I feel, having been involved at UBC SFU, and I see Dr. Peters in the audience as well. I've also been involved at SFU about 7 years ago. Had a meeting with IEEE group and Dr. John Bird, and remembers from SFU. He goes, hey Bob, well, he was my grad teacher. He goes, hey, can you do this circuits course? I go, I can do this in my sleep. I thought I was just joking with the guy. He goes, okay, can you start Friday? And my thing was, I go, show me the money, right? He goes, we'll make it happen. So I've been teaching at SFU in parallel. Somehow UBC, SFU, and BCIT, they all merged, the timetable merged. There's a lot of control. There's a little bit of control on you scheduling your courses. So I've been quite honestly blessed with something that I feel I came on this planet to do, is to teach. And while you teach, you think it's only teaching, but I am learning back from the audience of students, where students, make you learn some of the newer methods and so on. So I feel I would not trade my teaching job for absolutely anything. It's just one of those satisfying things that people do with passion. And when I take on a course, like my father used to say, if you want to learn something, teach it, right? And I would not trade this job for anybody. As part of the IEEE, as we speak, all this stuff just happened. There was no plan. I'm going to be the CEO or whatever you want to call it. Stuff just happened. As we were speaking, as the other colleagues were speaking, I just got a text from IEEE headquarters. There's a meeting happening right there, right now. I could not make it to the meeting, so I don't know why these see something in me. So I've just been appointed to Region 7 Western Canada Chair, which means I will look after the issues of anything from Vancouver to Winnipeg. So I'm honored to be part of that group, and honored to be here, and privileged to share my stories. The bottom line is, if you got a goal in mind, go after it. Relentless pursuit is the only way you can get it. You know, winners don't quit, and quitters don't win. If you quit early, it's just not going to happen. Thank you for listening to me.